Hey YouTube, this is Rishika and this would be my 26th video tutorial and part 2 in transformer stage. So this is my second part on the transformer. The first part I discussed about the properties of the transformer, like the basic architecture, how the user interface gonna look like, and what exactly are these tabs, tabs in the properties, transformer stage properties. What are the general tabs, stage variables, and all these triggers, all these functions and legacy null processing, and what are these options about on handheld null, and pretty much everything. So yeah, I said that stage variables and loop variables and surrogate key, I'm gonna tell them with examples later. So yeah, and that's my pretty much the first part. So as I said in the previous video, in this video I'm gonna focus on the expression editor thing, the functions which we do have in expression editor. So let me start with ds macro and then system variables and link variables. Okay, ds routine, it's pretty vast topic, so I just want to skip that for now and make a separate video on just routines. Okay, because we do have server routines and all that, so I just want to make sure I make a separate video on that. I don't want to combine that vast topic onto this. Okay, so yeah, let's come to macros. So basically before starting, let me tell you, this is expression editor. Okay, this thing is expression editor. So basically you're writing, if you remember, I said in modify stage everything is manual, but in transformer it's pretty much like predefined functions, right? So whenever you want to write a function, you need not choose you need not write yourself. You just want to make sure, what exactly you want to do with the input data, or what exactly you want to do with the functions. That's it. If you know that, that's pretty clear, then that's it. Everything is you need to have command and what function you need to use for what type of a job or what type of transformation. That's it. Okay, and once you know that, it's everything gonna be easy for you. So see, I said in input column we do have, because I didn't really put metadata in my source, it's not highlighted, but when we do have input columns, it's gonna highlight. So whenever you say so I want to have salary get greater than 10,000, it's not that you need to write salary column name for yourself, right? You can just choose hit on this input column and choose the column name, whatever your column name is. That's it. So that's preventing errors, right? Obviously human errors are prevented, right? So yeah, that's a biggest advantage of transformer stage. Okay, so yeah, let me just start with ds macro now. Ds macros are basically sorry, built-in data stage functions, and they do not require any arguments. They are just, if you wanna if you see this, these are just like the built-in function. So whenever you give just this one, like any of this, it gonna just give your output. It does not require any other arguments to go in with that. Okay, so yeah, these macros, we do have only few macros in parallel, but few ds macros in parallel, but in server stage there are number of macros. So once I'm done with because the parallel transformer stage is pretty important, I'm first focusing on the parallel. Once everything is done, then I gonna go to the server jobs, and then have routines and all the things, all the ds macros, additional ds macros and all that stuff I'm gonna deal with in the server job too. Okay, so as of now, yeah, we do have only 3 through 6 and 9 ds macros in parallel transformer stage. Okay, so these macros are basically stored in job control.h file. It's a file. It's basically, I believe it's in $ds home and include path, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah, I believe that's pretty I believe that's true. Okay, so it's $ds home and include slash include, I guess. But don't worry, it's just stored in, these are all the functions just stored in job control.h file. That's enough knowledge for now. Okay, for, let's say, beginners. Okay, and yeah, so basically what are these macros used for are, they basically allow us to get information about all the information about the current job, links and stages, and what exactly is all the things, like the project name and all that. So that's the basic functionalities of macros, DS macros. So yeah, they can I mean, I said that they do not need any arguments to be written, right? But it doesn't mean that they can't be used in any expressions. They can be used in any expressions. Let's say you want to have like some expressions in job control routines and before and after subroutines. Yeah, you can use them in those two, like when you're writing before or after stage subroutines, or writing expressions, or writing routines at the job control level, at the job level. Yeah, you can use this DS macros. Okay. And the other thing is, they can be used in all I mean, they can be used before and after subroutines, I said. And they provide basically, as I said, they provide all the information about the project, right? So yeah, that's basically like all the information about the project, or the all not project, I'm sorry, all the information about the job, the current job. Okay. So when you want to know what's your host name, if you're not sure what's your host name for the current job, you can just put this. And if you want to know the project name, just okay, let me just remove this. If you want to know the project name, or if you want to know the instance or invocation ID, all those things, you can just have a separate column added, so that you will know what exactly is your project name and host name and all that. Sometimes what happens is, we do get a requirement, so that I mean, the requirement says that I need an additional column saying that saying my project name and job name. Okay, so that's when this comes into place. We did not write our own expression for the project name and job name. We can just choose this DS project name and DS job name. So these are the things which gonna help us when we have such type of requirements. Okay. And I'm not really sure, but I somehow overheard people saying that macros have like a very distinct advantage of being more efficient, and I think it's faster than other functions too. I'm not really sure, guys. I'm just sharing my knowledge, which I heard from the people. So yeah, this statement, don't take it for granted. And when someone asks you, don't say that macros are like faster, or because I'm not really sure. Okay. If you're sure, so just update me. Just post a comment under this video, so that I would confirm it. Okay, I would make myself confirm. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much about this. And so let me just do the DS macro thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to design a job now. Okay, so I'm going to put some what is that file, dataset or something. Yeah, dataset. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put some data. Before that, let me load the parameter set, right? It's always a good practice to have parameters. So because we already had a parameter set created, let's use that in job. Oracle schema 1. So this is my parameter. Okay, so just click on OK and open your database stage, which is mine is Oracle, and enter your parameters: server, username, and password. Okay, and generate SQL, obviously yes, right? And let's say some regions. We are not using this input columns anyhow, so it doesn't matter. And let me load this regions metadata. Regions. Okay, so yep, only 2 columns, so that's fine. Okay, so yeah, now let's come to this. Okay so now I do want only region ID onto my output column. Let me just maximize this. Okay, so I do want only region ID as my output column, but I can add so what did I say? You can add you need to have, like, I'm going to show what are the DS macros, what are the functionalities of each of the DS macro, right? So but we don't have them, right? So what I'm going to do is, we can, when you just right click, when you just place your cursor on the output tab and right click on that, you're going to see all these options. It's like just desktop right click, right? So yeah, if you wanna delete all, you can select all and then delete, or you can have like a derivation is this thing like dslink 92 region id. This derivation, the left side of the thing is the derivation. You can just, if you don't want to have this derivation or to have something else, you can just clear derivation and append new column and all these things, like basic things, right? So I'm trying to add new columns to my output data because I don't have any columns in my input data, right? So what I'm going to do is just append. I do want some, probably 6 or 7, no 9, right? So I just want to I'm just going to go add a new columns until until I get probably 8, right? 8 or 9. Okay, so just append new columns, and I just want to show you how that gonna work. So yep, okay, now all set. So what I'm gonna do is, for each of this new column, I gonna give my own derivation, which is ds macro. So I want for this new, all these columns, I'm gonna be giving my own derivation, which is ds macros. So let me choose ds macro. When you double click on the derivation tab, it's gonna open up the expression editor, and then we can have this things. Okay, and if you double click on the constraint level, see this opens, but I'm not giving it the constraint level because remember, constraint is that is applied at the whole columns table level, but I don't have any output columns, right? So that's the reason I'm just adding new columns and giving them at the derivation or the column level. So ds macro, and I want to know host name. Okay, and next is, see, when you have the correct derivation, it gonna turn just normal, otherwise it's gonna show up some red color, or it depends, we can choose that color too. And the next is gs job control. Okay, I'm just doing it orderly so that we could know what exactly is done. Okay, and job invocation id, and next is, I'm gonna tell you what is each of them before running the job. I just wanna have these things in the columns, and then I'll tell you what does each of the ds macro mean. Okay, and now start date. This is start soon. Start time, and next is, I believe, start timestamp. Yep, start timestamp, and the other is wave number, and the last is the project name. Okay, the project name. Okay, and because we are writing it to output and we want to know what exactly is a column name, we can't change it here. See, when you click on this, you can't change your column names or anything, but you can change here. Okay, when you double click on this, it's gonna allow us to change here, right? So that is host name. Okay, and what's the next one? Job controller. So let's say gc, I don't want to waste time. And next is job invocation id. Okay, and what's next? Job name. Sorry, job name. And what's next? Start date, right? So start, what is that start date? Job start date. Okay, job start date. Okay, and next is start time. Okay, I'm not typing anything. Start time, and next is timestamp. Start timestamp. And what's next? Wave number. Okay, and what's the last one? Project name. Okay, we're all set. Now you're gonna know what exactly is your column, right? So yeah, and as soon as you type your column, just choose your data type. It's varchar. Okay, I prefer if I don't know how exactly is that, I prefer varchar. Okay, because that's pretty safe option, right? I don't want to ruin my job. And job name varchar, and start date, obviously it's date, right? And start time, it's time. We do have time option. Yep, time. And timestamp, we do have timestamp data type. See, timestamp. And remember, when you are choosing start time and timestamp in the extended field, whenever you're giving like time and timestamp, by default it gonna show minutes, hours, minutes and seconds. But if you want to display microseconds too, you go to extended field and choose this microseconds. If you don't choose microseconds, that microseconds is not displayed. That's this microseconds is manual, you need to choose that option. Okay. And wave number, again it's some varchar, and project name it's varchar. So remember, in the extended options, choose microseconds for time and timestamp when you want to have microseconds. Okay. And doesn't bother about length and scale, it doesn't matter. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Now let me explain what does this each of this do. Okay. DS hostname is basically it's giving the host, right? This macro will give you the host name of the DataStage server. Okay. And that's it, that's pretty much about this. And sorry, okay, I'm next. DS job controller. We don't get it now, even though I made a column for that. I don't get values in that job controller, because job control is what does it this macro function how does this macro function is, it returns the name of the job that started the current job. I mean, it's like when let's say some job is triggering the current job, so it gonna give that job like the job name of, I mean, the trigger the triggered job name. Okay. So let's say you have like job A and job B, and say job A is triggering job B. Okay. So when you have job controller macro defined in job B, it gonna show the name of job A, because that's the one which is like triggered, or that's the one which started the current job, right? Job B. So yeah, job A will be the job controller for job B. So if you want to know if the present job has any controller, or if you want to know what is the which job is controlling this present job, yeah, it's a good option to choose job controller thing. Okay. So basically it's like name of the job controlling the job referenced by the current job. That's it. So that's it. And other this job invocation id. Invocation id is basically it will return the invocation id. Like invocation id is basically, let me just show you. Invocation id, what does it mean is it allows it allows the job to run in multiple instances. So if you go for this properties tab, job level properties tab, and see here it says allow multiple instance, right? So allow multiple instance, it's by default it's not checked, but if you check here, it means that you are making your job to run several times but different invocation IDs. I'll show you that. Okay. So yeah, if you want to have like job invocation ID, unless you have this allow multiple instances clicked, it does not show your invocation ID. Let's not do that now, I'll show you later. So I'm not checking allow multiple instances. Okay. So I'm not because I did not check allow multiple instances, the job does not have any invocation ID. Okay. So as of now my job, I don't have job controller and job invocation ID, so these two columns should be empty. Okay, because I don't have any values for them, right? Okay. And job name, it just returns the job name, and start date, like when is the job started and all that things. And it gonna be in like it gonna be in the form of like year, month and date, I guess. And time, it gonna display time, and timestamp, date and time, that gonna be timestamp. And I choose time and timestamp, I choose microseconds, so in both of them I gonna get microseconds too. Okay. Let me do one thing. I'm not gonna check microseconds in one of them, and I'm gonna check a I'm gonna choose microseconds in others. So let's see the difference. Okay. And now job wave number. Wave number is like, it's a kind of sequence number generator for each successful job run. Okay. So yeah, it's like wave number of last or current, I mean, just for each successful run a wave number is generated. So that's, if you want to display like for that wave number, you're going to choose this DS macro. And the project name, obviously the project name, right? Okay, and let me create other column too. I want to show you something interesting. So let me just show you some. Okay, what I'm trying to do is, let's say you have a requirement to have project name and job name and as output column. But what did they say is, they don't want project name and job name in different columns. Instead they want like project dot job name. Okay, so for that requirement, what you're gonna do is choose a project name dot job name, right? So go to DS macro and choose project name and space and then colon and then space again. And now what you're gonna do is go to the string and give dot, right? That's option. The string is basically I'll tell you later, but for now let's just choose this dot. See, I don't have to give this double quotes. If I don't want to choose string, I just can manually give this double quotes and mention this. Yeah, so but if I don't want to choose manually double quotes, you can just choose the string option. You can just choose the string option here and just give whatever the string option you want to have. I want dot between DS project name and this, right? And space again and colon. And now what do you want? Job name, right? So go to DS macro and job name. Okay, so that's it. And let me give the column name as project dot dot project and job. Oh, project job names. Okay, and the data type gonna be obviously varchar. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so we are trying to have like project name dot job name. Okay, that's the requirement. I mean, there will be a lot of requirements, but I'm just showing the basic ones just to have like your own knowledge about that. Now see, we are not really concerned about any of these input columns, but I added my own output columns. If you still don't want this region ID, you can just remove that. It's not mandatory to choose any of the input columns. Unless we have like reasonable output columns, we need not choose any of the input columns. Okay, I'm just choosing region ID because we had only 2 columns, so I just want to show you, that's it. Okay, so this is pretty much everything about DS macros. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this job. Okay, so let me run browse for file and choose some dx.dx. okay, data. So just run your column, everything is set. So what does it say? Error pre-processing as transform derivation. Okay, so something is wrong. Let me just show you. Project names, the supplied expression was empty. Okay, let me just see something. We defined something wrong with this. So let me just see what's the error. What does it say? Okay, so see this this says that it's empty. It didn't take that. So DS macro job project name and colon and then string, and I want dot as my dot. Project name and job name should be separated by dot, and then colon again, and then choose DS job name. Sorry, DS job name. Okay, that's it. Now everything is set. Hope now it's gonna compile and run successfully. So it's compiled successfully. Just run. Okay, and let's see the output. So it's run successfully. Now let's just see the output data, how we gonna look like. So we added all the macros, right? All the DS macros. So we do have column names too, so it's not a big deal to see what's wrong with something and what's not wrong. Okay, so see, this is our data. So we are least bothered about this region ID because it's least bothered, right? So hostname, my hostname is Ravan, so that's hostname on which my what do I say, like the DataStage, the hostname of my DataStage server basically. Okay, and see job job controller and job invocation ID, I said they're gonna be empty, right? I mean empty or null. Choose nullable column, they're gonna have like null things. Okay, so because we didn't have job controller, this job is not being controlled by any other job, so that's the reason we don't have any job controller. And the why job invocation id, remember we didn't choose allow multiple instances because I'm not trying to run the same job with different ids or different instances. So I didn't choose that, so that's the reason we don't have invocation id too. And the job name, so this is my job name. XFM is in the real time they mean transformer. So XFM intro, this is my job name, and this is the start date. So just the start date and start time. Remember start time and timestamp. What did I say? Time is just time, timestamp is date along with time, right? So first time I did not choose microseconds, so that's the reason it has only hours, minutes and seconds. But timestamp I did choose microseconds from the extended field, right? So that's the reason it's showing this thing, microseconds. These are the microseconds, okay? And wave number is like what did I say, the sequence of a sequence number generated for each successful job run, right? So this is the for each successful, so this is the first successful job run, so it's going to show wave number as 1. And this is my project name, and this is my, what did I say, like the requirement is project name dot job name, right? I mean it can be any other string. It doesn't mean that it's just dot. You can choose colon or comma or any special character, anything, whatever you specify in the string, okay? So yeah, so this is my project name, analyzer project dot, which I specified in string field, and this is my job name. So this is how these routines gonna have. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is, let me just let's now give this allow multiple instance. So just check on this, go to the properties and just check on this allow multiple instance and click OK. Okay, and now let's just compile it first. I'm not doing anything, so let's just compile it and I'll show you. While you run, it's gonna ask for this. Okay, so it's compiled, and now if you click on this run button, see this thing, like this whole thing, invocation id. Let me just have some number. Okay, let me just have some number. Okay, so see this number, whatever number you specify here, that gonna have let me just have, see XFM intro, right? You don't have any other XFM. See, you don't have any other XFM, right? So but when you click on this, when you choose some number, let's say it's gonna be, let's say 568, okay, 539 or something, okay? And when you click on run, what it's gonna do is, see here, it's running, right? XFM intro.539. It's the same job, but it's running with a different instance, okay, different invocation id. So see, so that's it. And now if you just open your job and view the data, so let's look how the job gonna run now. So previously we had this job invocation id column as null, right? I mean null or empty, right? Because we didn't have any invocation id. But now we do have 539. What's this 539? 539 is the id or invocation id which are used while running the job. So what does this mean is, it's basically I have chosen an id, invocation id, which means I'm basically running the same job but different but with different id. That's it. It's running the same job but with different id. So when you choose allow multiple instances, you can have like you can run the same job with different invocation ids, right? That's it. Your job just invocation ids. We can choose the invocation id. We can choose the invocation id so that it's gonna display what id are you running on the job. If you don't have any invocation id, or if you don't check that allow multiple instances box, so that's it, you don't have any invocation id. That's it. Okay, so that's pretty much it about this job routines. What we are done with, we're done with DS macros and DS input column, right? So what did I say? In modify stage we need to type manually, but see, we do have input data, so now this input column is highlighted, but we don't have stage variables and loop variables defined, so that's not highlighted. So whatever you have, that's going to be highlighted. Okay, you're going to use them. So when you click on input column, it's going to show you these things. Let's say you have so yeah, if you have more than 2 columns, it's going to display a long list. So you're going to just choose, let me just say I'm going to choose region name. So how it's going to display is link name dot the column name. So this is how it gonna display. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? We did not type everything like the region name and all the things. We can just choose the column. Okay, and the other thing which I want to tell is when you click on this on the constraint level, or the or what do I say, on the table level, it's gonna have an additional option which is called link variables. Okay, so link variables, and I'm gonna tell you about the link so that's it guys. Thank you so much. Hope you understood about DS macros, and thank you so much for watching.